All right, so this is the podcast, right?
Yes.
This is the
With an asterisk.
Yes, this is the first video podcast that Flite Test has ever done.
In a very long time. We actually did one a long time ago. We were in Florida once and we did one, and we've done obviously Flite Fest, things like that.
Right.
But this is the first one.
Yeah, and now it's going to be on a weekly basis. So we say that before. It was kind of, we tried to do that, we didn't do that, but now we're going to actually do that.
Basically, we put it in your job description. It will be done on a weekly basis.
Right. If I don't do this,
you're fired.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes.
So if you guys don't see a Flite Test podcast coming to you every week, that means Stefan is not here anymore.
That's right. That's right. There'll be a vacancy and there'll be a job opening and there'll be a video talking about that job opening.
Right.
And you have to have, let's see, an epic laugh.
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
Singing abilities.
Beautiful singing abilities.
Yeah.
While we're at the singing abilities, just a little side note, we have Miss Megan on board at our shop. There's never been so much beautiful music being sung between these two people.
And she likes to play Disney songs loudly from think from her office,
I think
which is fine with me.
She's gotten the whole crew to break out and like Let It Go and
Whole New World,
songs,
Lion
Whole New
King,
World.
all that stuff.
Yeah, musical.
So big thank you to Megan for just being here.
Yeah, if you guys want to see some amazing written articles, Megan is doing a lot of our written content and just taking things to a whole new level. And Stefan, you are too, with now a video podcast.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I think it'll be a lot of fun for all the viewers. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we have 15,000 subscribers on iTunes, and obviously it's going to be going out, I believe, on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
So you can actually watch it on the YouTube channel, which is really cool idea.
And if anyone isn't aware, we've done a whole revamp on FliteTest.com. And the podcast and stuff will also be able to be seen and watched from there as well, too. Nice thing about video, though, is there's so many times we talk about things and we're holding in our hand describing it. Mm-hmm. With the video element now, we can be like, oh, look, we got the new Vortex 150. Right. And we can actually show it to you like this.
Look at that.
And
the downside of video is that there are other considerations. When you're just doing a normal podcast, you don't have to worry about a lot of things.
Can't pick my nose anymore.
Yeah. I have to put on pants. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Put on pants.
People don't get to see the weird stuff that goes on while we're talking.
Right. Now they do.
Yeah.
Well, now we have to behave.
I like to rub Josh's head.
That's true.
But I can't do that anymore.
before the open here, I was complaining because I have the posture of a true.
Show 'em.
Ready? Good posture. Turtle. Good. That. You wouldn't be able to see that, and normally in a podcast, I'm Turtle Boy.
Right.
So
that's kind of how it goes.
And we broke it. I'm hijacking this. I'm sorry.
You know what? It's okay. Yeah, we're just here having a good time chatting about all things Flite Test and all things fun. Yeah. And flight. So the biggest thing right now we're going to go into is Flite Fest. Yeah. So we just revamped FliteFest.com. It's got a new logo. We got Flite Fest West coming, right? April 27th through the 30th, right? Which is really cool. So now we get an opportunity to have those people who don't normally get to come to Flite Fest, who are on the West Coast and essentially 38 plus hours away, give them opportunity to enjoy and be part of something that's kind of bigger than themselves and some part of the flight community.
Fun, flying, family, fellowship, coast to coast. It's what we love the most.
Wow. Did you just come up with that right now?
I just threw that down.
Oh, my goodness.
By the way, we should let people know why we're on a whole nother level of being hyper. Because it's every bit as important as Flite Fest.
It's true.
We have a new coffee maker.
Oh, yes. So Dow Egbert.
What is it? Dewey Egbert? Dow Egbert?
I don't drink coffee. I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I. So I don't really know.
This is water.
It is elixir from heaven.
You're the only one that's on a whole nother level right now.
Right.
Really?
Because we're both drinking water and he's drinking coffee.
The world is moving so much slower lately, and I don't know what's going on. But
have you seen Over the Hedge with that squirrel on the caffeine? Is that you?
That is. I feel good. I feel really good. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, no. If I'm a little hyper, we did get a new coffee maker. It was a reward for the team that we except for you guys, a lot of us drink coffee here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe 3 of us don't, and we go through so much of it. And we got a dispenser now because the amount of grinding during production shoots and water mess, it was terrible. Right. So now there's coffee on demand, and I thought it would increase productivity.
But it's actually lengthened this podcast already.
Yes.
It's true.
It's become a big part of our Flite Test lives.
Yes, it has.
And by the way, we're not sponsored for this.
No, we're not. This is not sponsored by Dow Egbert, whatever it may be.
But speaking of coffee makers,
yes,
Flite Fest West.
It's a great point.
There will be coffee makers at Flite Fest West.
Yes. And just so if you haven't gone to FliteFest.com, if you haven't, the actual date is the Solano County Fairgrounds, Viejo, California. So if you want to get more information on that, go to the the website, check it out. Obviously, there's tickets are going fast. Mm-hmm. You want to get a prime location for camping and all that stuff. So get on that as quickly as possible. We're really looking forward to it. I think we're going out about a week early.
Big part of our crew is going to be going out a week ahead of time and getting ready and talking about our team. A huge shout out to Artem and Austin. Right. They were really key pioneers. Obviously Austin from the very first Flite Fest, and then Artem came in last year. And if you guys noticed, just what that team did together between those two, did amazing things with the experience.
Definitely our best year yet.
Yeah. Yep. The neat thing about Solano County is if anyone is going to both East and West, they're going to see two different experiences because California, let's face it, is not like Malvern, Ohio.
Right.
It's a very dense population. This is only about 30-40 minutes drive with no traffic from San Francisco. So logistically, it's beautiful. But what it is actually a county fairgrounds where there used to be a big oval horse track. And that is really where the 30 acres of flight land is going to exist. But the really cool benefit in what Austin did was he found a location where there's lots of indoor already existing. So there's a 20,000 square foot huge building that's located just adjacent to it. There's an area where they call the carnival grounds. Okay. That's all hard pack. So the beautiful thing about that is, although California is always blessed with beautiful weather, there is so much to do inside and outside. And I think the experience people are going to have, although it's not going to be open country, it's going to be easier to drive to. It's going to have a lot of infrastructure, restaurants, hotels, Six Flags right across the street, right there. So, nice. Our goal for this is really to have families have the best experience. The one downside with Malvern was, if you have one bad rainstorm, get on your mud boots, get on the straw. You know? And this, I don't think we're going to have that issue. Ironically, when we went down there, it was raining like an inch an hour. It was ridiculous. It was one of the heaviest rainstorms they ever got, and it was still able to be walked, which is huge.
Really?
So
that's awesome.
The fairground officials have committed to making that place the best place possible for Flite Fest West, and that means ripping things out, moving things, open up entrances,
cleaning up horse poo.
No horse poo. Matter of fact, the oval track is a grass track. That's going to be where our
it is now because of all the fertilizer.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that.
That's true.
Probably very lush and green.
Lush and green. So,
and now the entire, from what I understand, the entire FT team will be out there.
Oh yeah,
for Flite Fest.
Absolutely, and our spouses. I'm hoping Miss Heather's going to be there too.
Yeah, she's coming. Yep.
My
wife is going to be there.
So the spouses, the team, it's going to be a really special event. I think a core group of us is going to go down and do a lot of help with getting Flite Fest set up. And then we'll fly the spouses and the kids and the rest of the team down.
The pets.
Right before the pets. Yep. Yeah, Max will not be there actually.
Okay. Poor Max.
But get registration early because, if you think about 3 years of Flite Fest on the East Coast, there's a lot of West Coast community and family members that haven't gotten to go. My thought process is that well's primed and ready to go. And although it's huge, it is limited.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to start making plans, make it now.
Please do. And also, little note to end that there. On Facebook, if you go to Facebook, on the Flite Test Facebook, there's actually a post that you can actually win tickets to Flite Fest West. You just have to like the post and say that you're interested on the website, and then tag a friend that you think might want to come with you, and then you and your friend, if we choose you, will get to come for free. Which is awesome. Really cool. So, all right. So the next segment is something that we have been kind of doing recently. Josh has coined it Community Showcase.
Wow, that's stuck.
And I like it. Everybody else has liked it.
Could we do it like in a Community Showcase?
Yeah.
Next week we'll figure that out.
Yeah. How about you? Yeah. How about you guys figure it out right now?
Yeah, I don't know. You want
Community Showcase, like exactly what you just did.
I think that works.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right,
we'll work on the harmonizing later.
It needs a harmony for sure.
Can you bring your guitar next week?
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Actually, Chad has was it Kong, the box?
The Cajon.
Oh, the Cajon.
Cajon. Yeah.
That's cool.
King Kong is the other thing you were thinking of.
Yeah. I play a flutophone.
Flutophone?
Actually, I don't. I don't know how to work that thing.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
Could I have a kazoo?
Is that like an app on your phone?
It's the little recorders. Remember the little thing in 5th grade?
Oh, yeah.
My parents never bought me
like hot cross buns? Hot cross buns. You don't...
No? Okay.
No, you don't know how to play a flutophone.
You know what? Hidden story, rabbit trail.
Okay.
My parents never got me a recorder or a flutophone.
My parents didn't either.
They didn't throw down the $5.
Yeah.
Wow. I had to sit in the music thing and watch everyone play with the flutophones and listen to their beautiful music.
I'm not convinced that's what it's called, but keep going.
Flutophone?
Yeah.
I think it's... leave a comment below.
Please do.
Because you know what? This is YouTube, and you can do that. Yep. Look at that. I remembered.
Because if you don't leave a comment, we will talk about it for weeks.
Yeah. I got to say
that's just how it is.
Anyway.
Josh, take this away.
So anywho, so the community showcase, obviously it's stuck, and we really enjoyed it. So what my main job is here at Flite Test is that I am the community engagement manager. Mm-hmm. And so we've been trying to think of ways to be able to showcase the community members that are such a big part of our Flite Test, just everything that we do here at the shop, the videos, the comments, Facebook, the forums, articles. I mean, you name it. It's just everywhere. Yeah. So we really wanted to showcase those individuals who we felt that, were really pushing things forward. And one of the gentlemen that we're going to talk about today, his name is Dave Jones. Yes. He's from Australia. And I think his name is Jolly Swagman.
Jolly Swagman.
Yeah, which is an awesome name, first and foremost. But he came up with a little automated test stand to kind of check and run up motors to check you're taking thrust and current draws for different motors, different props, different ESCs and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then really cool. Then it does like a reading, like an automatic reading of it.
Yeah, it goes directly into Google Sheets.
Yeah.
Which is amazing because he said in his video that he's lazy. So he didn't want to have to take his own spreadsheet and put all the numbers in. Just boom, right into Google Sheets, and there it goes.
This is why I love our community. He just said he's lazy, but what he did is he designed a thrust stand that's 3D printed with an Arduino board to give you something that feeds the data into Google Sheets so you don't have to fill it in yourself.
Right.
Brother, I love you. Yeah. You're amazing, and you've changed my life.
Boom.
That's awesome.
You gotta love that. And you take up the note on the Arduino board.
Yeah.
Give us a little insight on what those actually do or what those are.
Best thing you could have done is have my kids talk about the Arduino boards because they know more than I do. Nice. The Arduino board is basically like a little tiny baby. I'm gonna describe this in the most layman's terms because that's all I know.
I appreciate that.
It is a very affordable, cheap, programmable board that's kind of like a little powerhouse computer that you can plug into a USB and make it do lots of things from blinking lights to taking data to operating motors, things like that. It's just imagine a Versacopter for the computer world. Actually, don't imagine that because I only have one configuration now. Imagine a simple multi-purpose tool that can be programmed, told to do duties, tasks, take data, behave in certain ways. And it's very easy. There's a common language. There's lots of tutorials. That's the extent of it. Okay. So it can do so many things. Yeah. And they have things like Arduino boards. I think there's other versions like Raspberry Pi, different stuff. Matter of fact, Josh, do you remember when we did a long time ago, it was the H-Quad, one of the first episodes with it, and I had the Ardu Pilot. Mm-hmm. That was an Arduino board.
Okay.
So that was pioneered by 3D Robotics, but it was still like an Arduino board with a mission planner to do functions. So in this case, instead of operating motors, it's actually going to be taking data down, and
that's awesome.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, I say the word blessed a lot. We are blessed with an amazing community. They not only have these talents, but they also share it freely.
Yeah.
And we can't express the gratitude we have enough because of that. Because I mean, this is not like, oh, he just had a spare couple hours and threw this together. This when we describe this and talk about that, and hopefully, we going to be able to show them pictures right now?
I hope to. Yes, I hope to show them the article and maybe some video, whatever it may be of his situation.
You guys are going to see the heart and the passion this gentleman put in, and it's incredible. So,
and he's got a great voice too on his video.
Does he?
Because he's from Australia. It sounds really cool. But one of the cool things is that he this might bring back memories for you. Don't know if you ever did this, but I know that my father did. But he pretty much used this Meccano, which is kind of like an erector set, to build this automated test stand, which is kind of cool because you see these days with different kind of materials and all this stuff. He had what he had, took what he had, and he made something, which is very Flite Test ish, right? You just take what you have, put it together, and see if it flies. In this case, obviously, it's a test stand. But what he's planning on doing is modifying the design to allow for it to be a little bit sleeker, with different carbon fiber tubes, also aluminum tubes, also depending on which one he wants to use, to make it easier, essentially.
Maybe I was imagining things. Wasn't there some 3D printed components in there?
Yes, now there is a 3D. So where the motor sits, essentially is you unscrew a little thing. There's a little motor mount made of 3D printed. pop it on, pop it off.
Gotcha.
Which is really cool. Now, I did get an email from him. I sent him an email. He got back to me. He's actually going to use a quick release switch. So you just pop and pop on and
So
pop
cool.
it back on, which is really cool. He's going to talk a little bit about, in his next article, in his next video, about like a kill switch, which because everything runs automatically. So when you click the button, you don't know when the motor's going to start up. So he's going to add flashing lights, a little kill switch for some safety components moving forward, which is really cool because obviously we're all about safety here at Flite Test. Take your props off if you're doing anything with your motors on your quads or anything like that on your planes. That's a big thing.
Show the scars.
Right. Be proud. Be proud and loud, which is cool. But, and that's just one of those things that from the community side of things, you have the forums, you have the articles. Yeah. Please continue to use those avenues because we learn so much from the community. We have an opportunity to now interact and converse with those people, which makes our job that even much more exciting. Because really it's all about the community. It's not about us here at the shop. It's not about planes that we make or things that we sell. It's about the community. That's why we do what we do. Which is really cool.
The original foundation of Flite Test has always been to help people have an experience that will improve their life, inspire them, hopefully make memories with friends. And we do that around aviation. What the community has done is they've taken it to a whole nother level because it's not just foam board airplanes. It's not just projects. It's not just fun challenges or games. It's things you can do now. A father and his kid can sit down and do this project together and make a memory. It doesn't have to take flight for it to be special. And the community, it seems like they've really, captured that. And if anything, they just continue to bring it year after year after year. And as Flite Test evolves, the one thing that won't evolve is our original mission to impact people in a positive way. And it's just so cool to see where it is. 6 years into us now. I mean, can you believe you've had to stare at me for 6 years, Josh?
It hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be at first.
We prepared you from the beginning. So.
Now, a little note on the family side of things. And if you've been to our Flite Test fans page, and now also on our regular Facebook page, there was a guy named Alex who talked about his situation with his brother flying a VersaWing.
Yes.
And there's a video I just wanted to point out because it's an amazing video about his relationship with his brother, how life is precious, and how this hobby is not just a hobby; it's a place where you can share memories and make memories that last a lifetime.
Alex made us all slobbering fools. I mean, he hit us in the feels really good. And it was beautiful, and he coined it up so beautifully. And it's awesome to see that. It blessed my whole day yesterday. And I went home and talked to it. I shared that video, not because it was about Flite Test, but it was about what two brothers did to have a special moment together. And that is actually about Flite Test, but it wasn't about Flite Test. That makes sense.
Which is awesome. And that's the main point.
Yeah, so I hope we can leave a link in the video below, because if you guys want to have your day blessed and you want to really get things in perspective, that video, it's a short 3-4 minute video just of a testimony of someone's life and how they've used it. The biggest thing is not only get emotional, but use that as a source of inspiration to repeat that in your own life.
Watch it, share it, give it to some friends, whatever it may be. We want to get to be able to see as many possible people be blessed by that message. So,
and speaking of family, again, the Flite Test family is growing internally with more kidlets.
That's true.
Yes. Oh, I forget.
Not mine though.
Not yours. That ship is sailed. Yours was last month.
You were pretty recent,
right? Yeah, Grayson Charles.
Charles.
He's now 2 months old.
Yes,
and he's now 15 pounds. He's a massive baby. He's in the 90th percentile of everything. Yeah, he's gonna be a big dude.
What size clothes is he in?
He is in 6 month.
6 month clothes.
Yeah, he's 2 months old.
That's crazy.
It's bad. And then Austin and my sister,
your
Anna,
brother-in-law,
they just had a baby as well. And she is doing wonderfully well.
Yes.
She's at home with my sister, from what I understand.
Yes.
So they have two. They have Charlie and what's her name?
Come on, Uncle Stefan.
I can't remember. I'm on the spot. Oh yes, Alta Elaine. That was her name.
Beautiful baby.
Yes, it's awesome.
So in 16 years, we have a whole other labor force coming up, and that is so exciting.
Josh, always thinking about that business plan, which is awesome.
Well, a couple more.
And so those are the things that we talk about with the community. We want to make sure that the community knows that we read, we see, we hear, because those things are what's important to us, and that's a big thing. And kind of to touch on kind of segmenting out with what you're doing with the community.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about so that we kind of just get a little wrap up here for that segment about what you do with the World War veterans.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard already, I've been interviewing World War II veterans for the last 6 months, maybe more. And basically, I just decided to take some time and sit down with these veterans and kind of get their stories, get their experience. And so from that, I developed an Instagram account called Memoirs of World War II. I'm working on a podcast too, which is coming along nicely. So you actually will get to be able to hear the veterans tell their stories in their own words, their own voice. It's really powerful. Like I listen back to what I've edited so far, and I just like, even though I was there, obviously when they said it the first time, like I get caught up. I'm there like trying to like edit and do the task I'm supposed to do, but I find myself just like I stop and I'm just listening because it's incredible. And these people are around, and that's the thing is that like you don't obviously they're getting up there in age, and there's not nearly as many World War II veterans around as there used to be, but they're still around. And if you try hard enough, you can go out and find them. And obviously all veterans are worthy of our appreciation for their service and everything that they've done, because it's a big deal. But my heart especially goes out to the World War II veterans, because I've always had an interest in that time period. But just knowing that their generation is kind of passing now, it's a sad thing, but at the same time, man, I've gotten so much inspiration from just being able to sit down and talk with these people. So it's my pleasure to share that information with others, so that you can get a better grasp on history, but also just get an appreciation for what these men and women did, because it's really amazing. And the thing is that when they talk about it, they a lot of times it's so nonchalant the way they talk about it, and I have to run them back, and I'm like, hang on, is this what you just told me? Because you just explained it like it was no big deal. But just main thing with them is the majority of World War II veterans, and I imagine veterans of any war, a main thing that they say is that they're not heroes, that the people who never came home are the heroes, which obviously, is true, but in my perspective, I think that these people are heroes.
You're allowed to disagree with them.
Yeah, I don't do it to their face. I don't want to start. I don't want to start an argument with somebody who's like actually like used a gun before.
Yeah.
To me, they're definitely heroes, and it's been just an awesome privilege to be able to talk with them and just hear about their experience.
Right. So they put a value on humanity. When I've heard your stories, and if anything you take away from that is how precious life is.
Yeah.
And also how precious freedom is.
Mm-hmm.
And those two things is what they defended, life and freedom.
Yeah.
And the sacrifice they were willing to make, like you said, nonchalantly. It's take a bullet for my buddy.
And humanity is such a big thing too. One guy I was talking to a couple weeks ago, he was in the Navy and he was in the South Pacific, and he told me a couple stories about. One story, he all these Japanese bombers, he saw them coming over a mountain, and they were coming to attack his fleet, and they sent up some Hellcats and Wildcats and basically shot all the bombers down. And then another one, there was a Japanese Zero coming in to strafe his ship, and a P-38 came in and just chased the Zero off and ended up destroying it. Well, as he's telling me this stuff, normally you would hear that story and you would think like, oh, awesome, like we got the bad guy, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But as he goes through the story, he begins to become more and more emotional, and by the end of it, he's in tears, because he's talking about someone who was killed. And even though this was these were enemy bombers, this was an enemy fighter plane, it was still a person, it's still a human being. And for him to still have that emotional connection to that kind of subject, because you watch movies and you see stuff and it's like, we got the bad guys, we won, but it's people, and a lot of people were forced to fight a war that they didn't agree with.
Correct.
And so just to see these people come out on the winning side of that conflict, but still have this emotional connection to, like, we weren't just like shooting bullets at nothing. Like these
wasn't target practice contests.
Yeah, these are people. These are people that had to pay the ultimate price on both sides. Just to see that kind of emotional connection that he had to something that happened 75 years ago is incredible.
Right, and we for any of those of you who are veterans in any way, shape, or form, we want to thank you for your service.
Yep.
We are blessed, and we have the freedoms we have today because of those who gave their lives, those who obviously came back, and we just thank you for everything that you've done for not only us here, but the rest of the country.
Yep.
We don't say it enough, I think, but thank you. And so from that, we talk about all our community stuff, and now we talk a little bit about how we kind of came about, and what backs us, what pushes us. Obviously, we do YouTube, we do all these different things. We're gonna talk a little bit about what's on the table here, the store component. We have a little bit of backing from the store.
RC stuff, RC planes,
RC planes, RC quapters. I mean, essentially, that's what we sell. That's what we do.
Is that a new word?
Quapters has been an internal term since we
back in the day.
Actually, who was the gentleman that came from the community? Actually, Michael Finley. I want to say his wonderful wife.
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe it is, and I'm sorry if I got it wrong and said the wrong name, but they called it the quapter.
That's awesome.
And that's stuck ever since. It made us laugh so hard. So
that sounds like how my daughter would describe it.
Right.
Well, I want you fly a quapter.
I want to watch you fly a quapter. And airplane is another big one we use. We wake airplanes.
We just don't pronounce our O's ever.
We like what we do.
Oh my golly!
It's good stuff.
I think this is the immersion. We just literally, I had to chase Alex around the room because he had the boxes, and he was defiant and insubordinate. And there will be a talk later, but
about
we got it from him. It only took about 3 Nerf rounds to the head, and now we are holding the Vortex 150, and it's awesome. I think who described it as a little baby flying squirrel?
Yeah,
Stephen,
I said it was a flattened baby flying squirrel.
So it's a flattened squirrel that got ran over by a truck, but still flies great.
Yes, it does, and I love it because it's. Obviously, everything's getting smaller, smaller. You saw on the vlog earlier that we had like a mosquito quad that was a 3D printed quad. This is obviously about twice as big as that one.
Yeah.
And it's still small, and it still looks like it punches a ton of power.
Okay. There's Vortex 150. Can you see it? There it is.
There it is.
Can you see it?
What motors we got in there?
The
1306 motors?
Yeah, let's read it off here. We got the... we have a video. It's 1306.
3200 kV?
It's like someone did their homework.
Hey.
I think someone's doing a really good job.
He has it written on his hand.
Video podcast together. The other thing we can do is just give them specs. Because it's a YouTube show.
That's nice. I like that.
Now.
That's going to be awkward though if they don't put the specs on this video.
We're just like,
all I'm doing is I'm just giving him more work to edit. I know, right? Now I just want to see where his breaking point is.
I'm looking forward to this. By the way, it also comes with these little in the box. They have these little charge and uncharged or
rubber bands.
Wait, is it charge or recharge or
on one side it says charge? I think one side says discharge or something.
Discharged. Okay.
But the neat thing is that's a really practical way to do it, and also makes your batteries a little bit more grippy. The gentleman that I saw do this first, I want to give him a huge shout out. It was Nick Fredericks. He actually sells one that goes around the actual terminal lead that you can flip one way or the other.
Okay.
And I've seen different versions of that coming up, but Nick kind of did that first and sent us a nice little free batch. So
right.
Awesome idea. So simple. You know what I mean?
Super simple.
For those, and you can move them from battery to battery when you blow them up.
Now this little guy, obviously we talked about going smaller.
Yeah.
The original was a 250. Size, right?
Actually, original was, I believe, 285. And then they came out with the Vortex 250, and that's what we had on our store. By the way, phenomenal. You can put a 3-cell on it. It's nice and docile. It's still maneuverable. Put a 4-cell 1300 on it. It's a whole nother animal.
That's awesome.
You're probably not going to, unless you're Luke Bannister, you're not going to go out and win any races, in nationals and stuff with it.
Right.
But the thing is crazy fast, and it will not disappoint anyone getting in the hobby who's intimidated maybe about building.
Right, and I think something like this, if you are getting into the hobby, something like this, it looks super sturdy. We haven't tested it out yet.
Oh, we will.
We haven't fly. We're gonna hopefully we're gonna fly today sometime.
Look for a vlog soon.
Yes, very soon. But it looks super sturdy. It's carbon fiber with some plastic components, which look pretty rigid.
Classic immersion red, which I like red, but I like their upgrade body kits that they come out with. You can swap out colors and make it your own. Phil Freybot does some pretty epic stickers for these,
which is really cool.
Yeah.
So look on the store, that'll be there. Look for obviously some content on that coming here shortly, which is really cool.
Cool backstory on this too. every year we take a trip down to China, and also like last year was also Europe, meet up with Grapner to visit vendors, manufacturers, just make sure that we vet every company we put on our store, and it doesn't matter how big or how well known they are, we still get our butt there and walk through and build that relationship, not only business relationship but personal relationship. And what I really loved about Immersion's plant, which is actually combined with Fat Shark's plant, so Mr. Tony Cake and I believe I always say Gary or Gary French, I believe is his name, who is Fat Shark, they have a factory together. The way they treated their employees, the way they had their system set up, the way they tested their products was incredible. And I have the utmost respect, because after going through different factories in Shenzhen, all the people we deal with, I say with a clear conscience, treat their employees wonderful.
That's good.
But they took it to a whole nother level, with the windows, with the air conditioning. I mean, it sounds crazy, like air conditioning, what's a big deal? In China, it's a huge deal. And to see the environment, the morale with their employees, I know that has nothing to do with this, but when you have people that treat their employees like that, you get good products.
Right.
And when you have 7 layers of testing, on everything, you get reliable products. And I got to see this when it was in its prototype form.
Yeah.
And to see Tony light up talking about it, I couldn't wait to fly it. And unfortunately, awesome. the time didn't cooperate to fly it, but to actually hold the finished product is really cool.
Yeah.
And they may, Immersion may not be first out of the gate with everything, but usually whatever they put out is really solid. And with the features they built into that, with frequency changing through the radio, the PID tuning abilities through the radio, also what they've done with collaborating with Horizon Hobby is a really exceptional thing.
Yeah. No, it's a really cool looking little machine, and hopefully we'll get to see some flying footage soon. Also, one of the big things that just store related is we're now selling 3D printers.
Yes. Yeah. It's
from Hyperion.
Is it
right?
up on the store right now?
That is a good question. We'll have to check on that. We sent them down. I think they should be. Yeah, I think they should be, but we'll have to check on that.
I gotta imagine like people listening or watching this right now are like, oh, what? Why in the world would they go to 3D printers?
Right.
And I cannot wait to answer that question.
Right. That's
kind of like The Office. I don't know if you watch The Office, but they sell paper, right? And then there was a couple seasons where they sold printers.
Really?
That's what it reminds me of. Yeah. It didn't end very well with them, though.
Really?
But for us, I'm sure it'll be great.
Should I watch that show to have like a forecast of what's going to happen?
At least a cautionary tale.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about if I live in blissful ignorance?
That's fine too.
Perfect. Okay.
I like that.
I've been doing that for 6 years.
That's totally okay. That's totally okay.
All right. Vision level behind the 3D printers. Wow.
There we go.
If anyone remembers, we did a episode with 3D lab prints with a P38 that was printed, and the community just loved it. And the neatest thing is what we really do with DIY is use common materials, common technology, things that people can approach to use it for aviation, for the hobby. And what has happened now with 3D printers, they're no longer $1,800, $2,000. You can get them as low as $400. And we found a really good, performing baseline printer. And what our goal is for 2017 is not just to say, hey, here's the next, foam board design from Flite Test. The community has so many talents. Mr. Rasterize and our beta builders and our core group and our just general community on the forums.
Yep.
They're coming out with ideas constantly. So many of those ideas revolve around something that's 3D printed, and it's free. And just as Flite Test's original vision was, we have the convenience available on the store. And for people that don't know, the store, the reason why we talk about it without being ashamed is we don't do sponsorship like we used to. At the end of every episode, we're not thanking Hobby King anymore. The store is set aside because that's how the community supports us. That's how we have 20 employees that they get to bless their families. And we put products that we really believe in and that we think will bless the community. And then when the community goes to our store and buys it, that gives us the opportunity then to continue to grow Flite Test.
Okay.
Now, do we have sponsorships? Absolutely, we have sponsorships. They're just not every episode. A matter of fact, they're maybe 5%, 10% of our episodes, and we're very clear when we are sponsored that we make it known. But that model is a trust model. It's a model that says, okay, we're going to do this, and rather than the community saying, give us a donation of money and we promise we'll do something good, we don't want just your money. We want you giving money, and we want you taking experience, whether it's a Vortex 150, a Kraken, a FT Flyer, and we want you taking that and making a memory with it. We want that blessing to come back to you, because let's face it, you're paying a premium for it. We show you how to do it for free with free plans and about $5 of materials, or you can go to our store and spend anywhere from $15 to $30. That's your donation. That's how you guys support Flite Test. And what really excites us in 2017 is we want to continue to help people have DIY components, tools, abilities to take free designs, free ideas, and make their product even better. And we're actually doing it on our next release. We're going to have a miniature version of my Pietenpol.
Right.
And
that'd be great.
I tried my hand. I'm just learning 3D design, and I'm terrible at it. I drew a radiator, and it took me like 3 hours.
Okay.
Mr. Once again, Dan Sponholz and his beta builder group. I said I need a Model A engine to go on the front of my Pietenpol, and right now, if you look, it's a little foam cube. Matter of fact, I can go get it in a second. I said I really want a 3D printable engine, so it's a nice detailed thing, because you can build a beautiful foam airplane, and there's sometimes details like engine cowls and stuff like that, canopies, you just can't repeat.
Right.
Now we can. Now we can put little machine guns on that Fokker DR1. We can put, cylinders on engines and stuff, and really make that DIY project look incredible.
Yeah.
So our goal is people that don't have printers, we want to give them the filament. We want to give them the right start point. But then, as the community designs a lot of these, and as we design a lot of these components to make the experience even better, we're going to share those for free. And if there's something in super high demand, like, oh, that widget is so cool, we'll spend the money on our side to have that manufactured out of like nylon 666 or something like that, and get those manufactured based on the needs the communities identify. But 2017 is going to be, I almost spilled my coffee.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even hide it now because you guys saw that. I'm going to hold it with both hands.
We have to confess to everything now.
I know. I just feel so self-conscious. Can you guys tell?
But look at the bright side.
Yeah.
Now it's all open.
How do I drink this now?
I would go around.
Dude,
but it's okay.
He's a man of
many.
Yeah, but that's why he's facilitating the podcast.
Now, a nice little thing is to segue from that Pietenpol. So we're doing a foam version, right, with the 3D printed options.
I'll go get it right now.
The other thing that...
You can't just leave.
I can leave.
Oh, look, is he going? Is he leaving?
I'm out of here.
It's like he owns the place,
It's you know what? I'm not really sure what just happened.
This is a really good opportunity to talk about him, though.
Yeah. Now, if you have any comments below of what you actually think of Josh Bixler, you can totally put those in below.
Where's my phone? I'm going to make some comments. I don't have my phone.
He's coming back. My phone.
So I think he's a great guy.
Yeah,
and I'm just really happy to be here.
You guys were dogging on me.
Really be a part of everything
making fun
that Josh
of my
Bixler is.
Scatterbrained behavior. All right. Do I just?
We actually hadn't gotten to that topic yet.
So that's from what I understand. So this is obviously the foam version, right? With the there's a 3D printed part there on the other one, which is nice. That looks beautiful, by the way. But to also note now that
you're probably gonna throw off Christian's focus.
Right, it's all over.
He's gonna be mad.
So now we have the foam version, but we also have your actual Pietenpol, which that's kind of what we wanted to chat a little bit about this morning about the full scale content that that people are now going to be able to see. We have the release coming up. When is that specifically coming?
What are we talking about?
Full scale content, which is mainly
Full Scale Fridays.
Mainly your bird, Friday, right?
Yes. Take the coffee from me. Yes, General Aviation full scale content's coming. Last week in January is our first release. Self-absorbed me, guess who's going to be in it? But that's not the biggest vision. I do have a Pietenpol. Some history on that Pietenpol. It was built by a great gentleman who unfortunately I never got to meet. I've only heard the stories, and I really regret he was never part of my life, named Howard Henderson. Howard Henderson in 1988 built this plane, and he was just a fun-loving spirit, flew all over with it. The plane is still original from 1988,
Beautiful.
Which for planes, usually they have like 20-year lifespan, and they have to get torn down and rebuilt because weather, wear, damage, whatever. I can still see his butt marks sliding in and out of that cockpit over and over again. I can see the wear of the 4 owners after him, and a dear friend.
There's a mental picture.
Well, I'm trying to set the stage because the original or the first format we're going to put out is called Pilot and Plane, and with full scale content, what we want to do is we're definitely not leaving our roots. We want people to obviously improve their lives, impact other people through aviation. Doesn't mean it has to only be RC. So my dad impacted my life through full scale, through man flight, general aviation, whatever you want to call it. And those memories is what conditioned me to have the heart and desire that I have today.
Right.
I want people to be impacted that way. And if they have the opportunity to go this way, our job as Flite Test is to break down those hurdles of knowledge, of experience, of fun, of laughter, just so people can picture what that life is like. So with full-scale content, what we're going to be doing is we're not going to just be holding that knowledge inside here because, frankly, we're very limited, and we cannot deliver how to do this. We can tell you how to build this, and if it crashes, we're not hurting people.
Right.
With manned flight, it's
kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal.
You kind of got to know what you're talking about.
So we're tapping into experts.
Good.
So what we're going to be doing is I have my personal plane. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm a student pilot still. I sold it at 16. I was flying before I had my license. I would get a ride out to the airport and fly my dad's plane and use up all his fuel. But I never had the motivation because I always flew with family to get it. So I'm continuing with my training right now. I'm soloing this. I can fly by myself. But my goal is this summer to be able to fly my kids in it. And that's the whole reason why there's 2 little cockpits.
That's awesome. And now, with full scale or general aviation, depending on how you view it, there's going to be a whole lot of different styles and formats of it, and we don't have to go into every single one, but that first one is going to be pilot and plane, where you kind of go on a journey with that person who is connected to that plane or that situation.
You can Wikipedia Pietenpols, and you can find out the history of Bernard Pietenpol. You can find out when it's developed. You can find the version differences. You can find iconic people. I want to do kind of what you're doing, Josh, with World War II vets. I want the story of why that pilot chose that plane. What's their experience like? Because no one just says, okay, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and car and driver and pick out this plane. Not with a plane that was designed in 1928.
Right.
Why did someone choose to take 10 years of their life and a lot of their investment and build that? And was it a reward? And that way people don't have to just take a gut guess. They can actually say, okay, I'm like that person. I want to do that activity. And that's the path that they can set themselves on. Other formats along with that. So it's going to be more emotional. It's not going to be, touch of history, but a lot of, like with me, I was talking about my dad in a lot of it. I was talking about the experience of sitting in the back seat, flying something with no brakes, 40 horsepower engine, not fun.
Exciting.
so look for that. But our goal is it's not going to only be us. We're going to have pilot and plane. We're going to have Ask the Expert. We're going to have a pilot's journey. We're going to have a build along where we're actually, in my case, I have a partially built Pietenpol. We're going to continue that story. We're going to have careers in flight. We're going to have Back to Beautiful restoration stories. We have 5 or 6 different planes we're going to continually check in on to show the story.
Awesome.
All of this, we're either going to be pulling out inspiration, education, knowledge, entertainment, which sounds like the 3 E's.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, and that's the other cool thing is that you alluded to it earlier, but with RC, we're obviously a massive RC station. That's our main content, but we want to hit all levels of flight, and that's why we're doing this. That's why we're going into the full scale. We want to create a funnel that is so large that you can be anywhere from A to Z and still feel part of the Flite Test community, and also just the flight community, which is really cool. Which is a really exciting time for us. Obviously, new things, new growth. So I know that all the guys here at the shop are really excited to see what happens. I know Jeremy has been doing a lot of fun stuff with that. He's one of our editors. If you haven't met him, obviously he's a great guy. Jeremy and Christian have been killing it with the videos. So big thanks to them. And kind of those are the things we're trying to hit all avenues.
Just yesterday, unfortunately, the weather didn't clear up. But to give you an example of pilot's journey, what it was going to be like is we're going down to meet a really nice gentleman named Tyler Kahn. Tyler Kahn is a flight instructor for Bad Attitude. And it sounds like bad attitude. What it's about is upset recovery. So hopefully, weather permitting, I want it to be the second one. But what we're going to be doing is just like you get your driver's license and you learn how to drive, you learn how to use a stop sign and turn signals and yields and all that stuff. But you don't learn how to deal with black ice. That's what a defensive driving course is for. Well, now when you get your private pilot's license or a LSA or any of these ratings, most of them do not include something like stall spin recovery anymore. Because guess what? You can't stall spin a Cessna, you know? So they say, okay, don't get into a stall, which is really good training. But what happens when you are in a stall? That was something back in the day that they did teach. Now they're not. What Tyler's going to do is going to take us through the paces, and frankly, I'm eager to learn about it, is what happens in different attitudes. And they do a very, frankly, expensive course, about $2,500. That's 8 hours of ground school and I believe 3 hours of flight time. Sounds like a lot of money, but here's what they teach you. What happens when you're overshooting the runway on base leg and you have a quarter-reed wind and you have to turn quickly and all of a sudden you have an accelerated stall in a turn? How do you recover from that?
I don't know.
I want to know.
You know what? I was in the same boat.
There we go.
All those terms
we're in a plane. We're in a plane, but yeah.
What happens when you have an engine out? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you will know, Josh.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to overcome.
Do I have a parachute?
No.
Oh boy.
No. So, those are the things we're going to try to do. We're going to pull experts. We're going to pull instructors, and honestly, we're going to spend community money to bring this content to you. Our end goal is this is not something that's going to be supported through the store. Is to actually have sponsorship levels from corporate levels, to bring this knowledge, like Embry-Riddle, flight schools, and then different experts. And then where the deficiency is, we're going to fund it. From Flite Test pocket.
That's great.
But Tyler Kahn is a great gentleman. He has a love of life and a love of flight and a love of people, and I think he's going to do a really good job. If
awesome.
Everything works out, I'm going to finish my private, hopefully through that school, and it's a very premium school, but I want people to get a good taste of what instruction looks like, but also the value and different life lessons. I don't ever want to have to do a high quartering turn and stall spin in my Pietenpol, but if I do, I want to know how to recover from it.
It's awesome. Yeah, and getting that information from the experts, that just makes you more knowledgeable and safer, because when you have your kids in the cockpit with you, I mean those are some big things. So
I'm looking forward to the build along, and I'm taking too long. I'm sorry. We're going to be doing a build along, and this plane is near and dear to my heart because it builds just the same as a model airplane. The only difference is you can't do it wrong. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a build along. Rather than me being the expert, which I'm not, we're going to have AMP mechanics. We're going to have Frank Pavliga come in and inspect it. And we're going to show how you would go by this. And then the resources we use to make sure it's done perfectly, we're going to share that with you.
Right.
So there is a link down below because we really need the community's help. And we're going to have a release video about this, so it's going to be redundant. But there's a link down below. If you're an expert, you know this, you have something you want to contribute in the general aviation field, or you're a potential sponsor. I'm going to be bold about that. This is going to be expensive. But if you're a potential sponsor that's interested in funding something like this to get your program, your school, your aviation-based company off the ground, there's a link down below. It's what do they call those, jot forms? Name, information, contact, how you want to help, how you want to collaborate. We are all ears because we really want this to be a success, and share that with the community.
Now to talk more about maybe more of the RC style of things, and just some information and some stuff that's going on. Most of you have probably heard about the Lily drone, and one of the big things that we're going to be talking on podcasts.
Heard about it, but you're not going to see it.
Not going to see it. One of the things that we're going to be doing on these podcasts is that we want to talk about flight tests, we want to talk about the community, but we want to also talk about general aviation, RC topics that
current
people
events.
Might exactly. So that people might. That's a good idea.
Current events.
Current RC events.
Wasn't there a show?
Probably was.
Yeah.
It says 60 minutes. This is not.
Well, it's about to be 60 minutes.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm checking. I keep checking the time on that.
We love that Josh is super passionate. We know that he loves it, and you can't.
And they're
fake
too
that,
afraid to make me stop because technically
he can fire me straight up on the podcast while you're watching.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'll try to be more of a servant.
No, it's okay. You're golden. So we're going to be talking about general RC current events. Obviously that whole thing about the Lily drone with the lawsuit in California.
It may be the best life lesson is not how to get a drone or win a lawsuit, but how to be very cautious when picking Kickstarters and things like that in the future. And this is by no chance me saying, okay, guys, you funded it. It was a gamble. It didn't pay off. With new technology growth, there's oftentimes promises made beyond the technology because they figure by the time they have to deliver the goods that technology will be there, or somehow it'll magically happen. Or in the worst case, they're terrible frauds that just exploit an opportunity.
Right.
I don't know, and I have no right to say which one that was, but it was a mess.
Right. And if you haven't read or heard anything about it, essentially what was going on was they were faking promo videos and shots with other DJI components, GoPro components, which someone caught wind of that obviously and did some digging and found some allegedly some information that was contrary to what was actually being said.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, the district attorney of San Francisco or somewhere in California essentially sued the company for faking those alleged shots. And misleading people for essentially $34 million in pre-orders, which that's a little bit different. If you've ever seen a Kickstarter, Kickstarters are a little bit different than pre-orders. Pre-orders are funding the entire thing by, I want one. The Kickstarters are more like, here,
fund my dream.
Exactly. So you're giving a specific amount for research and development, whatever, but you're not actually buying specific things. Right. You might be buying a package of things or whatever. So those are the kinds of things that you want to be cautious of. Want to make sure you do your research. Make sure you want to know exactly who this is. Do they have a reputable name? Have they been talking to other companies that are reputable in the actual RC community or whatever community that you're looking in? Because that can be because once you fork your money out, from what I have heard, sometimes they can take it and they can run with it.
There's a little asterisk in a lot of those things saying under these circumstances we are not obligated. And man, it breaks my heart because this hobby has so many special things about it. Fraud should not be part of this equation, and sadly it is. One thing I can say is whenever you see a new great idea, and this is kind of talking safe, not dreamy, but if you see a new great idea out there with a Kickstarter, with pre-orders, things, the best way to step back and think is, has this person that's delivering this opportunity, have they ever done anything in the industry that's had success yet? That would be one strike. If it's no, that's one strike. Another strike would be, is this the very first product that's beyond maybe a component level or a motor or one little thing? If so, rather than shutting them off, maybe say, I'll wait to see when it comes out and have to wait in line for 4 months when everyone's talking about how great it is. The other thing, too, is there's a benefit of waiting. With this Vortex 150, we immediately brought this into our store. Reason being is Immersion has a long history of doing phenomenal things. They have their act together. They don't deliver things until it's right because they understand the value of their brand and the value of a relationship with the customer. We can trust that and know that when we put this on our store, if there's any problems, they're going to make it right with us and the customer. With a Kickstarter, you have no guarantee. So rather than jumping on and saying this is the newest, greatest thing, it's going to be the best thing, and jumping on, putting down your money and gambling with it, take that 6-month hit, because most likely there'll probably be a version 2, even if it was a rock star. Say Lily Drone came out and you regret not being part of that initial funder, most likely there's going to be a list of improvements from feedback from the community or from the people buying it. There's going to be a version 2 that's going to be even better. And we've seen that with the evolution of the DJI Phantoms. The first Phantom was pretty revolutionary, but it's a joke compared to what you buy for $50 now. You know what I mean? It's crazy how that. But now the Mavic, look at the evolution, and anything they come out with Doom, I can guarantee I'd put bank on that because they have their act together. So whenever you see these ideas in Kickstarter, just filter through. Have they ever done anything in the industry before? And if so, what? And then base your judgment on that.
Yeah, and those are the big things. And you want to make sure that whenever you're putting money into anything, you got to be cautious. And you got to make sure that you're going through the motions and making sure you got all the intel and all that stuff on everything that you're going to be looking to do. So, and as far as that, obviously that's general RC related content that we maybe think that people would want to know about. If you have any other comments about general RC current events, list them below, link below, whatever you want to do. Let us know about them in the comments and all that stuff. Also, you're going to see these podcasts weekly, like we told you before.
Or he's fired.
Yes.
Or I'm fired, which is unfortunate.
Actually, or he gets hit with a Nerf gun.
Link below for the Nerf fight later. Just kidding. But the other thing is going to be that you can also subscribe and you can be part of the podcast. There's on iTunes. This is actually going on our YouTube channel like we talked about before. So you can also subscribe on our YouTube account to actually be notified. Click that little bell, ding, for the opportunity to see all the content that's coming out in the future. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for obviously being here and
brother, great job today.
Holy cow, you did really good.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys, I really appreciate it. And obviously if you haven't noticed, Austin is not here at the moment.
Yes.
I'm kind of taking over the podcast situations.
You're owning it.
Essentially moving forward in that, which I've loved so far. It's been great. It's only been once, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed it and you guys have enjoyed it and all that stuff. But he's going to be on here. We're going to have different people on each week.
They can only take so much of me.
Right. Yeah.
Of you?
Josh.
You're a staple, man. You're going to be here every time.
I don't know about that.
It's going to be here every day.
By the way, where's Josh Scott?
Right there.
Hi.
Right there.
That's my line.
Ding. It's nice.
So wrong. Hey, just quickly, I don't want to ruin stuff. We talk more and more content. Literally, the goal is every day.
Right.
And what we have now lineup wise is Monday we have the original classic flight test. Tuesday vlog. Wednesday another classic flight test. Thursday, is this going to be on Thursday?
Possibly. We haven't figured out exactly what day we're gonna post.
You tell us what day is today
in the comments below.
Boom.
Okay, thank you. It's on that
Appreciate
day.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So, and then Friday is another vlog. And then we're even going to be pushing into Saturday, hopefully with full scale content. So full scale is going to not be every week. We do not have the bandwidth right now to do it every week. Our goal is every other week, but it may be a bi-monthly thing. And based on the weather I've seen lately, maybe 3 weeks.
Right. So. And that's one of those things. You got to do it. Full scale has a lot of different things that go into it.
But we don't have to worry about weather for this one.
This is true, which is nice because podcasts are always in a studio, hanging out with friends, being part of a community.
But now we actually have to look presentable.
Yeah, that's true. Now you got to do your hair or wear pants.
Did
whatever.
you?
Huh?
Did you do your hair?
I pulled my back today. Yeah, actually, I shaved my head two days ago.
Oh, man. Well, like I said, thanks, guys, for being a part of it for the first one. Obviously, the first video podcast, which is awesome. Really looking forward to seeing what you guys think because this is pretty much all for you guys. We do this stuff for you, and we want to know what you guys think, what you guys hear. Just be part of it with us.
How much flight test can you handle? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's true.
Let's find out.
For real.
And, hey, just so you know, you make everything happen.
What was that?
I don't know.
He was trying to do a sign off, man. That was good. He didn't
I'm
want to.
sorry.
That was one of the worst sign-offs I've ever seen.
You have the ability to cut it right there, though.
That's true.
In live broadcasts, he always goes deuces. Deuces.
This is true.
So what he was going to do was going to be, I got to do something different. So
and I was like,
make this happen.
You make this happen.
You know what? It's too late.
That was bad.
You make this happen.
You make this happen.
You make this happen.
You made this happen.
You know what? It's there. We just had to say it right.
You're responsible for this.
Yeah.
And
Love you guys.
See you guys next time.